Today is the second half of 3.3, Properties of Logs, and today we are going to take and we are going to condense using the properties of logs. And here we have the properties listed, the product, quotient, and power rule. And we are going from this again and working backwards and going this way. So we know addition and multiplication go together, subtraction and division go together, and then we have that power rule that if we have something up here, it is going to become a power. And look here, unless you're representing a quantity, you will get rid of the parentheses before condensing. So let's start with some simple ones first. Here we have two terms of logs, base 5. We're going to condense it down to one log with base 5. We have subtraction. Subtraction goes with division, so we know we are going to divide these two. That's our answer. The next one, we have log of base 10. We do have two terms of log, but we're condensing it down to one. This one has the power rule, so that's going to act as a 1/2 power. It also acts as the square root of x, which we're going to want to write it that way in case we have multiple radicals in our answer. And we have subtraction on this one. Subtraction goes with division, so we're going to divide, and this is going to be the square root of x on the bottom. And there's our answer for the second one. For the last one, here we have parentheses. We want to get rid of those parentheses first. So we're going to take and distribute that 1/2. Multiply it here, multiply it here. This multiplication goes in the front of the log, not behind. And this is actually going to act as a power on the A, and this is going to act as a power on the B. So what we really have is A to the 1/2 power and B to the 1/2 power right here. Or square root of A and square root of B. And the reason I want you to write these in radical form, this is a perfect example. I wrote over the top of this, but this was a plus sign. So I have log of base 4. I had the square root of A times the square root of B. You guys, if you have the same root radical like this square root, they're both square roots, you could condense these even further by combining these. So this is log of A times B, both being under the radical, and the base is 4. That's what I want you to do as far as simplifying for that problem. A few more problems. Here we have log base 10 on both of these. This is a quantity that just represents a quantity. There's nothing to do with those parentheses. You can't get rid of them. So I have subtraction with this. So this is going to mean division. So the 6x goes on top, the 6 goes on the bottom. You guys make sure you look to see if you can ever simplify anything, because I am expecting you to simplify as far as you can, or you will lose some points. Now the next one has 4 terms of logs. Of course, we're getting it down just to 1 term of log. So anything that has a plus sign before it is going to go on the top. And of course, this first term is a plus, so it goes on the top. So we have this 2 on the top. This has a plus sign before it, so it's also going to go on the top with a 2. Oh, this 2 right here is power rule, so we're going to add that to being y squared. And because there's a plus before that, the y squared will also go on the top. And here's our subtraction that is before the z. The z is the only thing that goes on the bottom. If this would have been a minus sign, that would mean the x would go on the bottom and join the z. Now, of course, like we talked about yesterday, logs and natural logs are the same. It's just that log, or I should say natural log, is just a log with base e. So we're going to use the same rules. This represents a quantity, so I cannot get rid of that. So what I have is 1 term of log. This is going to act as a power on the x. So I have a plus sign, so it's multiplication. So it's going to be an x minus 2, which is a quantity, and then it's going to be an x to the 5th. Now you can leave it like that. You could actually also distribute this. I would accept either one of these answers right here. That one or that one. And you can try the last one. And this is what you should have for the answer. Reason being, before this natural log, before the y, is a subtraction. That goes on the bottom, but everything else goes on the top because everything has a plus sign before it. Just a couple of more problems here. I'm going to look at the second one. You have to get rid of these parentheses first. These parentheses are necessary. This is going to multiply every term here by 2. So this is going to be a 2 natural log x minus a 6 natural log y plus a 2 natural log z. And then we can put them as powers by doing that power rule, because all these are going to act as powers. So this would be a squared sixth squared. Now we're going to write this as 1 natural log. The x squared goes on the top. The y to the 6th goes on the bottom because we have a subtraction. And the z to the 4th is going to go on the top because that has a plus sign. So again, you have to look at the sign that's before it. And let's also do this one right here. And then if you want to try the other two, you can. This will act as a power, so that's going to make that squared. Likewise, that acts as a power. This also acts as a power, but I'm not going to write that as c to the 1/2. I'm going to write that as the square root of c. Likewise with the d, not d to the 1/2, it's the square root of d. So what I have is this. I have 1 log. The a squared goes on the top. The b to the 3rd goes on the bottom. The square root of c goes on the top. It looks like, I think I wrote over the top of that. Yeah, the square root of c goes on the top. The square root of d goes on the bottom. And this is your answer for this one. And you can try the other two if you'd like. And there you have it. The first one is log square root of x on the top and y times z on the bottom. And then the last one is log times the square root of x all over y squared. All right, I told you if you did not have that change of base function on your calculator, you have to know how to use the change of base formula. So in evaluating this, for example, let's go to this one with the numbers. You can plug this in your calculator, again, under the math. And if you go to A, you have change base. You can use that, and that'll evaluate this for you to give you this answer. The other thing that you can do is, if you don't have that, and this is what you'll have to do, is use this formula. It is taking log of whatever number is right here and putting that on the top, and dividing it by the log of whatever number is here and putting that on the bottom. Of course, you could also use natural log because that's just a log with a different base. So log of 7 divided by log of 5 gives you that same answer. You can now finish the 3.3 worksheet and the backside, and you can submit it into Schoology when you're done. Goodbye.